Welcome back, and today we're going to continue our tour of the cell and look at two main parts, the nucleus, the control center, and the cytoplasm. So the gel-like fluid that gives the cell kind of its shape there. So the first thing we're going to look at, as you can see, is the diagram in front of us, is the nucleus. And this is usually in the center part of the cell. All eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. Now, if you remember, prokaryotic cells, the simple type cells, don't have a nucleus. Their genetic material, their DNA, is kind of spread out in the nucleoid region. So in the eukaryotic cells, we do have a nucleus, and it's kind of like the headquarters of the cell. So it contains the DNA, it controls the cell functions, it has the directions for all the proteins, the enzymes that are going to run the metabolism of the cell. And you can see here that it is surrounded by a nuclear envelope. And within that nuclear envelope there are pores, similar to what we saw on the cell membrane. These are protein channels that will allow materials to move in and out. And in the next unit, when we talk about protein synthesis, we'll see how that when mRNA, messenger RNA, is made in the nucleus, it exits through these pores to get into the cytoplasm. So the nucleus has a nuclear envelope, which is a double membrane system. It has these pores in it that allow movement of materials in and out of the nucleus, much like the cell membrane does for the cell as a whole. Now, within the nucleus, there is this kind of concentrated, dense region called the nucleolus. And this is where the parts for ribosomes are made and assembled. So the ribosomes that will end up in the cytoplasm or attached to the rough ER, as we see in the diagram here, are produced in the nucleolus. They're shipped out of the nucleus into the cytoplasm, where they will function in protein synthesis. So there's the nucleus and the nucleolus in it. Now, what else is in the nucleus? Well, the DNA. Now, excuse me, most of the time the DNA is in a form called chromatin, and that's unwound DNA. And the way I think of it is chromatin is long and thin. And what happens is most of the time it's in this kind of unwound format until the cell needs to divide. And it's at that point that the DNA and the chromatin will condense to form the chromosomes that we're so familiar with. So in humans, we have 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes, 44 autosomes and 2 sex chromosomes that when the cell divides have to be replicated and distributed to the two new cells. So chromatin will condense to form chromosomes inside the nucleus. And the last thing that we're going to look at in this segment right here is the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm is a gel-like fluid where the organelles are found. So this is where chemical reactions take place in the cell. And if you look at the cell, we can see we've got the plasma membrane surrounding it. Oops, don't want to move that, but we've got this plasma membrane surrounding it. We've got the nucleus that we just talked about, and everything else is the cytoplasm. So the nucleus and the cytoplasm together form the protoplasm, all the living matter in the cell. And the cytoplasm is the liquid surrounding the nucleus plus all of the organelles that are in it. So we've now looked at the three major parts of a cell: the membrane, the nucleus, and the cytoplasm. That's where we're going to stop for today, and we'll pick it up in our next unit when we talk about the energy producing organelles of the cell, the mitochondria and the chloroplast.